we can get started. Hello and welcome, everyone. So, before I introduce myself, I thought I'd kind of just talk about quickly some of the housekeeping items. So, this is a training webinar for auto review, which we expect to be somewhere between 45 to 60 minutes. It all depends on how many questions that we get. This session is being recorded, and we will be sending this recording to all of you guys who are attending as well as who have registered but couldn't attend for whatever reason. During this training, just in case, in between, if you guys come across any questions, feel free to leave your comments or ask in the chat. I do have my colleague Neha on this webinar who kind of will help us answer any questions. And we do have a separate time also for Q&A session as well, wherein you can unmute yourself and you can ask any questions. But just in case, if you have any questions meanwhile, just throw it in the chat and we'll kind of respond it. Yep, that's pretty much it. I kind of see a lot of names who are very much familiar. So I mean, those of you who could be new joinee to your company and who may not have any clue about who I am or what auto review is all about. So I'm gonna talk about certain basics. So some of you guys who are already pro may find it basic, like, I mean, it's like what I'm talking about, but I need to kind of just want to make sure that I kind of cover everything. So just to introduce myself, I'm Hardik. I'm one of the founder at Xenett. I'm also an accounting professional, just like you guys. So I kind of come with about 14 years experience into accounting industry, and auto review was born from our own experience itself, right? So what is auto review? Those of you who are kind of pretty new, don't have much idea as to what it's all about. I'm just gonna take few seconds real quick just to explain you. So auto review is an intelligent cleanup tool that automatically detects the errors from your accounting file, which is QuickBooks and Xero, and it basically automates the whole review process. Because generally what happens is that when we review the books, we don't know where the problems are. So we end up checking everything. This is where auto review comes into the picture, and it's going to find all the possible errors, put them into one place, makes it super easy for us to fix it, right? So that the whole review process, the whole month-end process can be expedited, right? So that's a quick brief of what auto review is all about. All right, so this is going to be today's agenda. We're going to start the deep dive into auto review, wherein we're going to talk about the workflow, various features. Then we can also talk about some of the best practices. And these best practices have been derived by talking to a lot of our customers, how they have implemented auto review into their practices. So we kind of thought that it would be a good idea to share with you also the use cases as to how you could actually use auto review, right? And then this is going to be one of my favorite, which is roadmap, because there are a lot of exciting features that we plan to roll out next month and the coming months. And at the end, we'll keep some time open for any questions and answer where you guys can unmute yourself and we can just talk. All right, so that's the agenda, how it looks like. And now I'm gonna share my screen again with my auto review open. Just give me a second, guys. All right. You guys can see my auto review screen, right? All right. So once you have, once you are into auto review, let's assume that this is the first time you're logging in into auto review, you don't see any client. The very first step is to add client, which is very simple. You click on this add client file and then you just connect your QuickBooks file. It's going to ask you for your QuickBooks credential and that's it. It's very easy. If you guys are using any other application, it's just like that. It's like kind of very simple. This is the screen which we call it practice dashboard, which is where you're going to see a list of all your clients and you can find out where does each client stand. So just to give you an example, I can see this is the client, the unicorn. This is a month in progress, the progress percentage, and the last month finalized. And I'm going to talk about what this different information is all about, right? So once we get into that client, I'm going to I'm going to talk about what is this month in progress, or what is this last month finalized month, right? Now, when you click on this auto review icon, it will then take you to that particular client now. And this is how the review is going to start it. So once you are into the client, the very first step you need to do is decide the review period. And this is where you can do it, right? So this is where you can select 1 month, multiple months, meaning you can select a quarter, you can select the whole year, whatever you like, right? And this is where if you have some clients doing monthly review, you can select the month. Some clients doing quarterly review, you can select a particular quarter. Some clients you just doing annual review, you can select the whole year as well, right? It's very simple. Just click on the month, start month, and the end month, and that's it. Just click on run. Auto review is now gonna scan the whole QuickBooks file, and then it's gonna kind of put together list of different review points. Now, just to give you some idea about the whole screen, on left side, we display all these review points. Now, these review points, many of them come default, but at the same time, you also get an option to create your own custom review points, which I'm also going to touch base in later this webinar. All right. So the way it's going to work is that once you have selected the review period, you have to start the review. And when you start the review, this is how you're telling auto review that, hey, I'm about to start review for this period. And that is how it considers that, hey, this is now work in progress. So I'm going to start the review process, right? So now what's going to happen is that one by one, we need to go through each of these review points and we need to fix it. So if you look at the whole picture, like, see, whenever we review, our goal is to get the accurate numbers. And in order to get the accurate numbers, all the errors should be resolved. And this is the best way to resolve it, because now you can clearly see that, hey, these are the problematic areas that you have to fix it. So let's start with uncategorized entries, right? So this uncategorized entries, like my goal should be that, hey, I need to reclassify all these transactions to appropriate accounts, right? Now, let's say I can see T-Mobile, right? And by the way, right now, I can see there are some of them, same vendor. So I can also play around here. Like I wanted to see all the vendor transactions together. I can just simply group it. So now I can see all the Amazon, all T-Mobile together. And now I wanted to find out, like, where does this T-Mobile transactions recorded in the past, right? So I can quickly use this search. I can say, hey, T-Mobile, just start typing in. It will give you suggestion. Click on it, and you can easily see all the transactions for T-Mobile, and you can see it's what's posted to telephone and internet. So now I can just simply close this, come back here, double click on it, make the changes, and it's done. Whatever changes that you make here will also get updated to your QuickBooks file. All right. So that's one way how you can quickly search any transactions for the vendor. Now, this is the new feature that we actually just released today. Instead of you coming here, typing in, like you can right click on it. Like you could say, hey, right click on it, smart search, right? And you have all the transactions for that vendor right here. So you can right click on any vendor, you can right click on any account, and you can see all the transactions for that account as well. So this is the pretty great way, like in case if you wanted to, like whatever screen that you are on and you wanted to find out, like you wanted to inquire anything about that vendor, that customer, that account, this is gonna help you because it's just a kind of one click away. All right. So that's one thing. Now, while you can edit individual transaction, auto review also makes it super easy for you to kind of reclassify all the transactions in one go. So now I can see, like, because now I have grouped all my transactions by vendor, I can select multiple of them just like this. And I could say that, hey, all this transaction should go to telephone and internet, and you basically save it, right? So you can also select multiple transactions, and you can also bulk reclassify them as well. So you can change the account, name, class, location, even change the customer job as well. So you can do all of those actions right here. All right. So that's the way that you can edit the transaction. Now, there are certain features here which I wanted to talk about. Attachment. Let's say I can see there's an attachment icon here. So just in case, if you have done any, like if you have attached any document in your QuickBooks file, you're gonna find it here. Like you can click on this attachment icon and you can quickly open the attachment right from this system itself. You don't have to go anywhere and you can access it as well, correct? There's an I icon, which is basically a shortcut link to your QuickBooks file. So QuickBooks transaction. So whenever you click on this I transaction, it will then take you to that QuickBooks file and open up that particular transaction, right? So this is generally helpful just in case if you wanted to look at that transactions into QuickBooks, that I icon will directly take you there, right? Now we do have this sign off here, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit later, right? So the goal here is that we see the transactions and we fix it, correct? Now, likewise, we have to go through each of these points one by one. My goal would be that I reclassify all of those 8 transactions here, so it eventually shows 0, right? That should be my goal. So then let's imagine the next one, entry posted to parent account. Now, in QuickBooks, you might be familiar that there are parent accounts, there are sub accounts. So whenever there are transactions recorded to parent account instead of sub accounts, you're gonna find it here. So again, all you could do is that you can select multiple of them and you could say that, hey, all these transactions should go to this account, and you simply reclassify them as well. All right. So that way, as I mentioned, Auto Review not only finds it some of these unusual transactions, but it also makes it easier for you to resolve it. Now, each of these review points has its own configuration. So let's say I'm in 2 entry posted to parent GL, and you would say that, hey, even though automobile expenses is a parent account, but I'm all fine. I don't need to see this account because I'm okay. All you could do, you can click on this config and you can say that, hey, exclude this particular account, and then you're not gonna see this account transactions ever in the future, right? So this is how you can configure it. Now, each of these review points will have its own set of configuration. It could be different depending upon what review point you're looking at it. So you can configure it using this config icon, all right? You can Excel export it, which is also very simple. There is a search here. So generally, like right now, you can see all the information in here on one page itself. But imagine if there were 100 transactions in here, and if you wanted to search something inside this table, you can use this search and you could just say that, hey, I just wanted to see blade, kind of. Like you can type in anything and you can quickly search it as well. So one by one, we need to go through each of these review points. And once you resolve it, now let's imagine you kind of, took care of all those transactions. There's a process called sign off, right? So we have this process called sign off here. When you click on sign off, this increases this percentage, right? So if you remember on the practice dashboard screen, there was a progress percentage. This is what it is. Whenever you move forward and whenever you're done with any particular review point and you sign off, this is going to increase the percentage, and our goal would be to reach 100% eventually, right? So that's how it's going to work. Now, one by one, many of the review points are very self-explanatory. Like, hey, this one tells you transactions without class. This one tells you entries without location. And by the way, see, all of those review points come default. But if you say that, hey, there are some of them I really don't want, you can click on this menu, click on configure, right? And you can basically disable them. Like you could say that, hey, I really don't need to look at entries without location. You turn it off and it's done, right? And whatever changes that you make is going to be for the client that we are in, which is the unicorn in this case, right? So it's not going to apply to any other clients, right? So that's how you're going to be using it. One by one, you can go through each of these points, like, hey, this is entries without name, entries without customer or projects, just in case. If you are tracking your cost by customer or project, then this report tells you that, hey, these are the transactions where customer or project is missing. All right. So that's that. Negative and zero balance vendors. Generally, we don't expect vendors or customers to show negative balance. But if it is, I mean, it's going to show up here. That does not mean it's wrong. At times, there could be a right reason for that, but at least it's unusual, right? And that is why we kind of show it here. Now, this is where I wanted to kind of also talk about the sign off. So what this sign off does is that, see, when auto review suggests you something, if it's a problem, you're gonna fix it, and that particular transaction will disappear from the review point, right? So let's say, for example, if we were into uncategorized entries, if there was an issue, I would just reclassify it and it will disappear. But if there is something which was suggested by auto review, but it is not an issue, you use this sign off, right? When you do sign off, that means you're telling auto review that, hey, this is correct, right? I don't need to take any action, right? And that particular transaction will then disappear from that particular review points, right? So that's where this sign off comes into the picture. um, Duplicate entries, one of the best one. The way it works is that a lot of parameters that we've introduced, right? So the good example here is that, see, there's a bill from Home Depot and there's an expense from Home Depot. This was supposed to be a bill payment, but someone mistakenly entered as an expense. So what happened was the bill is still unpaid, the expense got entered twice. So there are parameters where auto review tells you that, hey, this could be probably duplicate. So then you have to take appropriate action, and then you have to basically get rid one of them. Right now, transaction delete is not available, but that's going to be available in September, right? So that's that. Duplicate names. This is also one of the best one. We don't generally do this kind of cleanup because this does not impact our bottom line or kind of our balance sheet or profit and loss, because this is merely a duplicate record. But it's important to even resolve them. So things like this: Blade Title Company, Uber, right? I mean, uh, uh, these are identical spellings but duplicates. So you can also see what entries have been posted to that names. And again, you cannot merge here. So the merging part or merging activity needs to happen in the QuickBooks file. All right. And whenever you make any changes in auto review, it's gonna sync the latest changes to QuickBooks right away. But if you are making any changes in QuickBooks, then you have to press the sync button to bring those latest changes back to auto review. So this is something, because auto review wouldn't know when you have made changes into QuickBooks. So all you have to do, just press this sync button. It's gonna bring all the changes and it's gonna be there. All right, unreconciled entries, very straightforward. So the best part here is that it's gonna flag the item. So when we talk about unreconciled entries or outstanding transactions, see, there are certain transactions which you don't expect to remain unclear. Like, for example, if you see a transfer entry in your bank account as a unreconciled, right? It's a problem because transfer entries generally clear on the same day or probably a day after. ACH payments, right? So things like this, these transactions generally get cleared. But if those haven't been cleared from the bank, then it's going to be flagged by auto review. New vendors, new customers, new GL. So this is a quick, like, I would say, quick way to find out which new vendors have been created, how exactly this been coded. So the way I would use this is that if my staff has created new vendors, I'm gonna quickly see the list of the new vendors. I'm gonna see how exactly they have coded it. So if they made any mistake, I can fix it at this point. Because imagine if I don't fix it, they might just follow the history and even the wrong account would follow for rest of the life, right? So this is the best and quickest way of quickly see the new vendors. Um, this one is also a great one, review vendors, customers and GL list, where you can see list of all your vendors with the last entry date, right? So what this tells me that, hey, you got so many vendors which haven't been used for a while, right? I'm going to select many of them and I'm going to make them inactive on one simple click. So this will help me make sure that I have a clean and accurate vendor, customer, and GL list in my QuickBooks file. Account balance checks is where you're going to find out that, hey, you got this accounts where you were expecting zero balance, but if it's like it's not zero, so you're going to find it here. You got this account like cash on hand, generally should have positive balance, but it's negative, which is not right. So you're going to find the conflict here. So wherever there are accounts with some unusual balances, going to show up here, right? Now this is the best one, review expenses. Review expenses. The reason why we call it best one is because a lot of our customers have found it really helpful, is because now they can view or review all their expenses just in few minutes. Because what it does is that it takes all your expenses and summarizes by a vendor as well as accounts. Imagine in QuickBooks, we go into an account, look at long list of transactions, try to find out the error, and then we repeat the same thing for every other account. Versus here, it's all on one page. It's a matter of scrolling it down. So the way it's gonna work is that, hey, Slack is a vendor. It's been generally posted to dues and subscription account, but in one of the month, someone made a mistake, put it to a wrong account. So there is a flag there, right? So I don't even have to go and find those things. Auto review automatically flags certain items like this. So all I'm going to do, if it's a problem, I'm going to click on it. I can see the transactions. I can just fix it right here. Okay. So that's one kind of a flag. Another flag is that, hey, you have been paying them 120 every month, but in this month you're missing one. So there is a flag there as well. Correct? So even it checks, it looks for the consistency in the amount as well. All right. And these are the quick filters on the top, like GL misclassification. So I mean, you can still decide to go through all the vendors because it's anyway gonna take few minutes. But if you directly wanted to jump on those problematic transactions, just click on those filters and you will directly jump there. This has got two views. Like this one is by pay and then by GL. But then when you click on by GL, it's going to be reversed. So now you're going to find out this is a GL and underneath you have a vendor name as well. So however you feel comfortable, you can use it. So this is the best one because just by spending few minutes, you kind of get the whole picture in front of you that how your expenses are coded. Now, until here, review expenses, everything come default by auto review. You don't have to do anything. It all configured it unless you want to change some configuration here and there. Otherwise, it's all configured it automatically. At the same time, auto review also allows you to create your custom review points. Like I could create like my own review points. When I click on add, I have many criterias. Like I can like choose that, hey, I wanted to, let's say, I could say, hey, show me all those transactions in fixed assets that are less than $2,000 because you may decide to put them back to the expense, right? So once you set up your parameters like this, you could say that, hey, pick all the fixed asset accounts, and you could say, hey, amount should be less than this, more than this, correct? You can save it. Once you save it, it becomes part of your workflow and it gets added here, right? So then in future, you don't have to remember about it. All you then have to do, if you see any count, click here, right? And then make the decision. So I see there are 7 of them in fixed assets that are less than $2,000, right? I can simply see it here. I can see that, hey, the amounts look very small. I'm going to select them all and put them back to the expense, right? So imagine you don't even have to go through every single fixed asset account, look for those transactions and edit them individually. You can just do it right here. So this is the best way where in case if there are any client specific review points, you can use it. All right. So this covers a majority of workflow. At the end, we also have some reports, basic reports for now, which is profit and loss and balance sheet. But the goal here, the concept here is that as long as, like, imagine you've configured all your review points and everything, by the time you reach here, like at this point, save such views, imagine if everything was signed off, you can be confident about your numbers because then you at least don't have to worry about those PD issues, bookkeeping issues, right? Because those have already been fixed. So, and this is where I wanted to talk about some of the best practices that our customers have implemented. Is that, see, what they have done is that, one second, real quick. I hope I have. Okay. So what they've done is that they have actually transferred the whole review activity from their reviewer to the primary bookkeeper because they feel that some of these mistakes don't even, like, it doesn't seem like the worth of reviewer's time. So it's like if the bookkeeper takes care of most of the things, they can have reviewer free up their time and then they can actually manage more clients. Second thing they have done is that they have actually, previously they used to do monthly review, but now they introduce like once in uh, some of the customers, what they've done is that let's say every Friday they're gonna spend 30 minutes and quickly go through some of their clients. If they see issue, they fix it right there. It's like if you know there is a duplicate transaction, you don't need to wait for the month end to begin your review process and then find it and then fix it, right? So what they've done, they kind of introduced a real-time review. And this is where it kind of was possible through our browser extension, which I'm also going to talk about in next few seconds, right? And even with the year-end clients, what they've done is that they don't wait for the year because they don't want to accumulate things. So some clients, they kind of just started doing it on a quarterly basis, right? So as they find things, they're going to fix it right there. So these are some of the best practices that our customers have introduced. Now, to talk about uh, the browser extension. So browser extension, what has happened is that recently, in last March, we launched this feature where, like, you don't need to go, like, you don't have to remember to log in to auto review. You can be inside your QuickBooks file and can still enjoy auto review. The way it's going to work is that you have to install the browser extension. So just in case if you guys have not installed already, I would advise you guys to install it. You can click on this icon, Xenett icon, and you would be able to download the browser extension, right? Once you have installed it, the browser extension, you're gonna find this panel. You see it here, 101 flags. So this is actually driven by auto review. When you click on that, sorry. When you click on that, you will then see the whole auto review inside your QuickBooks file. So now imagine if I was a staff accountant, right? I kind of log into my QuickBooks file for my own work, but if I see a flag, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to start resolving right there. So this will help you do the real-time review. You don't have to remember or you don't have to go anywhere as such, right? So this kind of makes it super easy to fix those issues on real-time basis, right? So this is the, like, most our customers have loved this because now they don't have to, they don't feel like they are using any other application. They feel like they are just using QuickBooks feature itself. All right. So that's that. Now inside auto review, I'm gonna touch base before I jump on some of the other points. I want to talk about uh, we do have this help center here. So just in case, there are various resources available. If you guys stuck somewhere, there is a chat. There are knowledge articles with the detailed tutorials as well. If you wanted to speak with us, click on it, like find a time, and you can also speak with us as well. We encourage ideas. In fact, a lot of our new features actually come from our customers. So just in case, if you guys have any best ideas, click on this announcement icon and you will see this plus icon, and you can start suggesting us the ideas, any feature request, right? We basically, lot of you guys can suggest it, vote it, and we then kind of decide the priority, and then we set up the development plan as well, right? So this is the best way to communicate the ideas. And just in case, like if you wanted to find out what ideas are already there, you can find it here. You can find the roadmap here, right? Which I'm also going to talk about now. All right. So let me just quickly see the chat. I just want to make sure. I think Neha has been responding, so I'm not going to read every single message. Anyways, so coming back to kind of my presentation real quick. Use cases. If we talk about the use cases, our customers have been using it for the monthly review, year-end review, even for the cleanup project. Because imagine you got a new client and there's a, first of all, you don't know like the health of the books, right? All you do, connect your QuickBooks file or Zero file to auto review. You can quickly see, like you can select, hey, January to December, the whole year, and you can quickly see how many issues yet, how many issues that you find. Based on that, you can find out that how much cleanup work is required, right? And using that information, you can also quote your client. Like you could say that, hey, this seems like a huge mess. This is gonna take me 100 hours, right? And accordingly, you can also quote your client. You could say that, hey, this is gonna cost you 5 grand, right? So things like this, you can also do it. Even once you have that client, you can also do the whole cleanup. Like you could select the whole range, like January to December, and start cleaning up. So these are the different use cases through which, you can actually use auto review for. All right. Now I'm going to talk about a roadmap. There are actually a few things on auto review. I don't think I'll be able to cover everything, but I think I've tried to cover most of them. So I'm going to spend some time now on talking about roadmap, and then I'm going to open the floor for you guys to ask any questions. All right. So, all right. This is what it looks like, and this is a very high level. I have not kind of included any small features. These are the kind of major modules kind of thing, right? So client collaboration, this has been kind of a lot of customers requested. This is that, imagine when you are in auto review and you are resolving uncategorized entries, but there are some transactions you are not sure. Right now, you either export it into Excel, send it to client in email or Google Sheet or wherever, whatever. You get the response, you come back here, you change it, right? So what's going to happen is that we are introducing a separate interface for client itself. So all you could do, you can kind of ask questions directly from here to your client, and client will have their own interface, right? And client, for clients, it's going to be very simple. For them, it's not an auto review. For them, it's more like a questions and answers. All they have to do, just start typing in the answer, and that's done, right? And we have also, considering the fact that clients are not accountants, we have tried to keep the experience in such a way that even normal person can understand it. There is nothing like you have to go to this URL and type in this email address and things like that. For them, it could be just a simple link and 6-digit passcode that they have to remember. That's it, right? And then kind of simply in. So they can start responding that. There you see the response here, and once you approve it, it goes back to QuickBooks, right? So that way, we don't want you to do multiple back and forth, because at times what happens with the email is that you ask 10 questions, client respond you with 5 questions, then you again keep like kind of send another email with those. So there's a lot of back and forth happening. So that's client collaboration, and it's gonna come with private labeling, as in uh, you can apply your own branding. You could say that, hey, this is like, client wouldn't really know it's Xenett. Client would know your practice name, right? So that way you can also private labeling, put your logo and things like that, right? So that's September is what I mean, the early September, right? Is what we are aiming to launch. Another thing, we haven't actually thought about the name yet, but I kind of just put it for now, is suggestions, right? So the next thing we are actually coming up with is like, if we see there is a T-Mobile and if we see there are transactions already, so we're gonna start give you suggestions so that you can quickly accept it. Instead of you going and doing research and finding out that, hey, how is this, how should the like how should be coded and things like that. So we are actually coming up with the whole new module itself, which is gonna be very much simple and easy. It's more like a quick action, more like a yes no kind of thing. So just to give an example, it's gonna tell you that, hey, Uber, you coded to office expenses. Looks like it should go to travel. And all you do, yes or no kind of thing, right? So we're gonna make it super easy for you guys to resolve some of those things right there. You don't feel like working, it's more like kind of you're just answering yes or no kind of thing, right? So you're not dealing with the transaction. So this is what we are brainstorming right now, and there is going to be we're gonna actually talk to many of you guys just to get some ideas once we have some sort of screens ready. But this is one thing that we plan to do, is making it even easier for you guys so that you guys don't have to go and research anything. It's going to be suggestions are going to be available for like wherever we can do it, right? So that's that, which are kind of more immediate. Some of those things that we have been often asked, which is detailed close management. Until now, auto review's focus has been mainly towards finding as many possible errors as we can, which we will continue to kind of introduce more and more review points. But one of the things that have been demanded was the proper close process. And what I mean by that is that, hey, you have a proper checklist, like you have your own working papers, then you have your own review notes. You wanted to communicate with your team members, right? It's more like a structured, close process where you can like have a clear cut idea as to like if you look at your balance sheet, you know that, hey, this account is reconciled, this account is reconciled, right? You, so basically all those otherwise like review notes which could exist somewhere, working papers which could exist somewhere, all of those things you can easily manage it in here. So right now it's under brainstorming mode, but that's another thing that we are actually coming up by end of this year. And the reporting package as well. Right now, our reports are kind of very basic in a way that profit and loss balance sheet, but we are coming up with more like a white label reporting. You can create the package like with your own branding, a PDF or Excel, and you can easily share with your client, right? So more like with your comments as well, that will be visible to your client as well, all right? And this is 1099 is something have been requested by a lot of our US customers, so it's gonna be coming as well. So again, there are certain features here and there which I have not included it, but this is kind of a main like the overall roadmap how it looks like. All right. So uh, this is it. Let me just quickly see I'm not missing anything. Uh, all right. So I think I have covered everything. I'm gonna open the floor and like feel free guys, just in case if you wanted to ask something. I'll have to make some setting so that you guys can unmute yourself. One second, I'm trying to find it. So I kind of like just in case guys, if you wanted to ask something, feel free to ask any question. I kind of know that there have been a lot of questions, I mean comments going on in the chat, but yeah, audit trail, Andrew, yes, that's definitely coming up for sure. That's also one of the thing we have already started working on it, and it's gonna be available as well. So, all right, anyone guys like any feedback? I mean, anything, something that you wanted to see. or any questions? Is there a report we can pull out for all sign of transactions? Enric, let me see. I think right now it's let me just show you 1 second. Right now, it's at the individual report level. So for example, let's say you are into uncategorized entries. Right now, when you click on this, you can see all those transactions, sign off transactions for that particular review point. But yes, we'll take it as a good suggestions and we'll definitely put it on our roadmap. So thank you for that. How do you freeze the side panel when trying to view July? Um, how do you freeze the side panel? I'm not exactly sure. Um, what that, so Annie, I'm not sure if you wanted to unmute yourself and ask. Is there a way to undo when you add a transaction to the GL configuration? Malika, it's definitely coming. Right now, it's not that I know. We are actually coming up with, like, see, right now, even the node is very basic, right? But we are coming up with more advanced node feature where we can actually tag people. There is going to be notification as well, like the other people also get notified, right? So it's gonna be available soon. So
Am I unmuted?
yeah.
Okay. This is Annie. I was talking about when you get to the section where you have the review of the GL and the I guess the trying to find the section where it is where you have the three different choices and there's all the different flags up. When you go to scroll over, so you have total there. This past month while I was working on it, when you check on something that say is in January, all of a sudden it scrolls over to the current month you're working on, which is July, but the payee column disappears. So you can't see what the payee is. All you can see is July. So how do you freeze the payee section? It shows while you scroll over to the current month.
Got it, got it, got it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can make that feature available for sure. But meanwhile, let me see if this, so you can try to do in this full screen, like hide this. Meanwhile, until it's available, make it a full screen, and then hopefully, if you have that monitor, you might be able to see everything on your screen. But yes,
Okay.
we will take it as suggestions, and yeah, we can actually do a free Spain kind of thing so that you can actually do it. Yep, got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Can you show how you custom set up the GL configuration for your GL misclassification account? So, Russell, what's gonna happen? We are actually also revamping this whole thing. We're gonna make it super easy. So the whole, I mean, many of these things are being revamped. So what's gonna happen is that, um, see, let's say Slack. Uh, let's say right now it was posted to Office Supplies and Software, and if you were fine with it, right, like you could say that, hey, click on the flag and click on add this GL to configuration. What this means is that you're telling auto review that, hey, this account is fine, don't show me flag for this vendor, all right? And so once you've done it, you kind of, this flag will be resolved. But if you want to see the configuration, you click on the vendor name and you can see the whole because see, at the end, in the backend, it's a kind of configuration that auto review has to remember. So in the backend, in case if you want to change something, see, right now the way it's set up is that every month it's expecting one entry from Slack, right? Every month it's expecting it that it should go to dues and subscription. And even for dues and subscription, it is expecting that the amount should be between 100 to 150, right? So if any of these conditions are not matching, it's going to be flagged. And so by default, we do all of those configuration automatically just by like looking at your data. But in case if you want to change something, you can always come here and change it from your end. So again, as I mentioned, I mean, we are actually working on improvising or kind of making the whole experience even better. So I hope that may have answered the questions. Okay, all right, thanks, Rosal. Duplicate entries does not fit. Yeah, Abhishek, you're right. That's gonna be available somewhere in sorry, by end of August. Duplicate, because we just revamped not just duplicate entries, but one thing is more like various other, like even like the whole review expenses. We kind of revamped the whole logic, right? So that's gonna be available. What else? Tracy, can we flip the months column around to see the current month first? So I think in review expenses, what's gonna happen is that you have these columns ascending and descending, right? So you could actually use it. The months column are generally be available for review expenses, and let me see if that's available in profit and loss as well. Not sure. Ascending and descending is available there. Let's see. Yep, it's also there. Yep, so you can use that to flip the column. Tracy, so even for review expenses, you can do it. So ascending and descending. All right. Neha, I'm not sure. Are there any other questions? I mean, we still have about 10 minutes left. So let me see. Um, Not sure, Neha, if you replied to Jennifer. Okay, you already replied.
I did.
Yep.
I think one question was unanswered. That was for Tom, as I wasn't sure.
Which one?
I'm just searching it out. Tom.
Can you put the question in the chat? I can just see if I can respond. Just put that question in the chat and
Actually, he asked
okay.
that, what did you say? It is not unavailable yet. So I wasn't.
Okay.
I missed your chat. Like I was typing, so I wasn't knowing this.
Okay.
It was about the deleting of transactions.
Okay.
So deleting the transactions are actually also coming up with the client portal. So somewhere early September is what we are aiming for because that's how it looks like. So deleting transaction as well as client portal, and then there are a few, even the logics that we have just implemented. So all right, any other questions, guys? So I mean, we definitely plan to have this kind of sessions every month, and I also wanted to share with you guys, just in case if you guys need any specific training session for your own practice, which is customized to your team itself, feel free to reach out because we have actually done it for many of our customers. Because we understand that each practice may have their own ways of doing like certain processes, right? So we work with you guys, we understand it, and we basically kind of train your people as well. So feel free to reach out. We'll be more than happy to customize this training session for you guys. And as I mentioned, we hear you guys. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to send it to us, and we'll see what best we can do to implement it. All right. So, will there be controls on upcoming deleting transactions tool? I'm not sure, Alec, but control perspective. I mean, we might just ask like more like some sort of confirmation or more like undo kind of thing that we could plan. But I'm not sure if you meant by any other control. So some sort of, I mean, even it's may not be just deleted on one click. We might ask you some sort of confirmation, and then we may also give you guys to kind of undo it as well. So all right, controls. Yep, Tiffany, you're right. Permission based. That's a good point as well. Yep, not you wouldn't want every user to have that ability to delete it. So that's a good point. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you for joining. I hope you guys found it helpful. We will definitely be following up with the recording. And as I mentioned, feel free to reach out for any request, like for any customized training, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you, guys, and we'll meet soon. We'll talk soon. Bye bye. Take care and stay safe.